Hello and welcome back to another repair video with skill sets of a baboon's butt cheek. So this is the final part of the repair on this ThinkPad 380. The issue being from the previous videos, the screen did not work. So I've ordered some capacitors and I've got a new soldering iron, so my plan B is actually to try and replace some of these things and see if that fixes the issue with the display. So you can see here the precision of an ape. I'm trying to remove some of these surface mount components. You really actually need a heat gun to circulate the heat properly. What I'm doing here is not recommended, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, I guess, with the tools you've got. And given I just got the soldering iron, I'm not going to go and buy another piece of equipment I'm using every now and then, but this is actually my plan B. I've already got plan A sitting here ready to go, which you'll see shortly, but yeah, you really do need a hot air gun to remove those parts. So I'm just attempting to pre-tin the capacitor. My hope is basically you put some tin on it, and then when you heat the solder on the board, you can sort of slide it in place, and it all sort of joins together nicely. Nice proper joint. Everything I just said did not happen. That's always the way it goes. As I said, you really need that hot air gun. Sorry about the terrible camera angles here. Forgot to actually move the camera around so you could see what I'm doing, but basically I'm trying to heat up one of the pads and slide the capacitor onto it. But yeah, as I said, it didn't really work out that well. It is attached, but it looks pretty butt ugly. No one wants that. Looks like crap, but it is on there. Perfection is my middle name. So I tried to take out one of the through-hole ones next. Those are normally a bit easier to take out, but the leaded-free solder makes it quite difficult to remove evenly. That, and I needed a bigger tip. I have like 10 of these things to put on, but the tips, sorry. But none of them, I forgot to put them on basically to take them off. But yeah, after half an hour I managed to fit one capacitor and then remove one other one. It was beginning to look less and less likely that this repair that I'm doing, or the attempted repair, is actually going to work out. I don't have the skills to do that fine component soldering. And I really, as I said, needed a heat gun to make that all happen, but it's okay. I have a plan B to go to, which I figured I'd always needed. Well, actually, it's more like a plan A, so we'll go to that. So with plan A out of the bag here, basically what I did was I bought a whole new mainboard, a motherboard for the machine, really doubling down on this addiction of computing here, of vintage computing. Yeah, just needed a few screws and things added into it to prepare it to fit into the case. It's always a good idea to just check it out, make sure there's no loose parts in there before you fit it. Last thing you want to do is short it out, given how long this project's already been going for. I didn't want to kill it. So yeah, I just really took my time and got it all fitted nicely and made sure everything was all snug. Yeah, not too much to it really. It's just undoing everything I just did before to take the board out. So with the last sort of necessary screws to go in, just all the grounds and everything, I powered the machine up and was really thankful to see that it actually worked, because I tell you I was going to beat it into submission if it didn't. So now it's just a matter of pretty much putting the computer back together. I really kind of tore the whole thing apart, trying to, diagnose the screen issue. So there's screens missing, there's bezels missing, screws and plastics and things like that. So all of that has to go back together, of course. So yeah, and unfortunately while I was putting everything back together, I re-broke the part where the CD drive and floppy disk drive goes. You'll see that soon, where I have to, well, here it is here, I have to glue it back together again. It's like the third time, but basically using a two-part epoxy which you mix together, and then you have to let it sit, well, cure I guess, for 15 to 20 minutes on the packet. So while that was doing that, I sort of just carried on and put the machine back together, really, and put all the missing screws back in. A little bit fiddly, but this is my favourite part, is putting the machine back together, because you get that end result satisfaction. This is also a good time to clean any components. I did not do that because I'm lazy, but if you wish to do so, you can. Those power buttons and things like that get gross and sticky from human fingers. So with the precision of a 80-year-old coffee addict, I just had to sort of glue the plastic back together. It looks terrible, it really does, but at least it's not missing, and it's going to stay on there. It's really just so when you look at the side of the machine that it doesn't have a big, missing hole there, basically, where the drives go. It looks terrible when it's not there, but a bit of glue at least still holds it all together. And you have to let it set or cure for 24 hours. So this is me the next day. And you'll see here how this also breaks, is you have to slide the drives in this awkward angle, which means, you break that bit of plastic very easily if you're not careful. And you'll see, like a baboon, I failed to realize I have to put the drive caddy in first, which goes to the front of the laptop there on the right. So I'll be taking this thing in and out like 5 times on and off camera to get it fitted. Good old shaky close-up of the glue job. It is holding. It's not brittle, which is good. It does have a bit of movement, which means it's not going to just get snapped off because it's so brittle. But that was a good thing, because as I said, I needed to take out the drive enclosure again, which, well, you can see I'm doing here. And you'll see once I get this out, there's this metal bracket that has to go in first. It's like an anti-shock plate that the drive mounts to. That's it there, and that has to go into the front of back of the screen there, where all the screws go, and then the drive enclosures sit on top of it, all sort of locked into place. And it's always a good idea to do a quick power on test to make sure the machine still works, because there's nothing worse than putting a whole laptop together and then having it, mess up, and then you have to take it all apart again. I was about to swear there, but yeah, I'll hold back. Keyboard, top cover, touchpad, or pointer, whatever you want to call it, needs to go in, and you have to lift these very delicate plastic tabs which love to snap off, so make sure you don't force them. Then everyone's favourite ribbon cables, of course need to go in, and these ones are also fun to get at, being at the very front of the laptop. You have to really get at the front of the machine to get those suckers in, but you know, once they're in, which is good. But yeah, just take your time and then it will sort of go together nicely. Next is a new CMOS battery, just to get rid of those boot up errors, so you can actually set the date and time on the machine and test it out, and it all boots. So get some recovery media going here and get Windows installed back onto the machine. So archive.org is where I found this, but someone was gracious enough to upload some recovery media for a very similar 380 model. I think it was an XD or something. I've put a link in the description for that if anyone needs it. But basically you burn it to a disk, the laptop boots from it, and it installs Windows 95 and some drivers and some other applications. Very useful. Comes and loads this a very IBM splash screen. I had trouble with the video drivers, but it's just a matter of manually installing those, and the sound drivers, for some reason the pathing to the driver was in like 4 different folders, and it wasn't smart enough to work out how to install them, so I had to point them to all sorts of directories. But yeah, the machine's got a fresh install. By fresh I mean loaded with crap. You got this fancy software select utility. I have no idea what this does. It's just, yeah, just some software that you can install or buy, I guess, for the machine. So yeah, you get a lot of preloaded software. Some of these are games that I've just put on the machine. Got old Netscape Navigator 3. I never actually used it. I should have. I was eating glue in the corner with Internet Explorer, which I guess was just the go-to browser back in the day for, you know, whatever came on your PC. But yeah, it's pretty cool. An old version just included straight out of the box. It's pretty good just to have those options. And you can see here it's got all the optional IBM branding added to the system properties, and you can see our display driver. It's not very good, but it works, as well as the sound chip. You'll see here coming up it's not very good for DOS gaming, but yeah, ThinkPad configuration doesn't load. I'm sure if I downloaded another version it might actually open, but basically you can configure parts of the machine, display settings, BIOS settings, things like that, and of course you get your fuel, which is just another battery, monitor, and Lotus Smart Suite, which is a competitor to Office, of course, Microsoft Office. I'm sure a lot of people used this. I did not, and I don't actually like it. It's very seems very clunky, but hey, you know, it's pretty cool it's included, because, you know, Office was expensive unless you had friends who gave you the discs. But yeah, I mean, it's included, which is good enough. You know, it's better than WordPad, I guess, just for your plain word processing needs. It comes with spreadsheets and PowerPoint alternatives, quite fancy. But yeah, I do find it quite funny how the it's called Word Pro 97. It's like direct to Office 97, Microsoft Office. But anyway, there's some wallpapers included as well and things like that. I've got some games loaded up. You'll hear SimCity, the music and sound effects isn't quite right. You'll hear when I load up a scenario, so headphone users be wary. But yeah, it made some strange sounds when things started getting going. You'll hear screeching and music all going out of time. Yeah, so it's not sounding quite right there. I'm sure if I tried some other drivers it might help, but yeah, the video's already dragged on long enough, or the project, so I can't be bothered. But yeah, there's Quake as well. That's a good game. That loads fine, runs fine until you try and crank the resolution up like I did. You can put it down a little bit and get some extra frame rates, but I, went for the eye candy a bit more. Get some higher resolutions. But yeah, it runs fine, sounds fine. I of course didn't leave the CD in the drive because it plays music from 9 Inch Nails, I think. But yeah, so I get copyrighted on that. But yeah, other than that, the game is quite fun and it runs fine. So yeah, got some Doom going on here. I don't know what version this is, it just says Doom 95. I'm assuming it's the first one sort of remastered a bit, but I did crank up the resolution a little bit higher on this one as well, but yeah, you can sort of get away with playing it at a slightly lower FPS because initially in these levels, these first ones, there's less going on, so you don't have to rush around so much. But yeah, the sound works fine on this one as well. The music as well plays fine. Apart from the hard drive. So you'll see here, I've stopped, not on purpose. It seems to take a while to buffer. I'm not sure if the drive's got bad sectors on it or something, but I think it's just really slow and doesn't have much caching ability. But yeah, the rest of it seems to run alright, so I was happy.
Those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride.
Good old Duke Nukem 3D needs no real introduction, but yeah, it seems to run alright as well. Sound, appears to work pretty good. I don't really have any music playing. I've just noticed this in the video while recording this terrible voiceover stuff, but it is actually working in the background, just deaf. But yeah, it seems to play alright. Apart from me not being able to control the Duke very well. I guess it's just the controls I need to fine tune, but yeah, other than that, the game actually plays pretty good as well. So I was happy as well with this one. So Crystal Caves is a game I haven't actually played much of, but it's really fun actually. If you haven't played it, I'd recommend it. This is where the faults or the flaws in this laptop start to show. You can see the classic red bar on the left side of the screen. Sort of happens a lot with chipsets or graphics chipsets that aren't quite compatible, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not there on CRTs and other graphics cards. And the other issue is the jarring, which if you look at the bottom of the screen where the lives are and the points counter or whatever, as you move left and right, they shutter. It's fine until you notice it, and then when you notice it, it's really annoying. I've seen that a lot with a lot of these Apogee games, and probably many others as well, but seems to be an incompatibility with the actual graphics chipset being used. It seems to be very common on laptops. I haven't really seen it on desktops, but yeah. Anyway, it's there, but you know, it could be worse. I did actually try some of the settings in the game to try and fix some of that, but they didn't actually, well, they didn't seem to make a difference at all, but either or, it works and it's still a fun game. Another game I always try and test out is Monster Truck Madness. At the default resolution, it actually is pretty playable, which the default resolution looks terrible because it's such an old game, but yeah, other than the repeating sound effects, it runs pretty good. Draw distance turned down, some of the quality settings turned down, but look, it's playable, and that's, you know, that's the main thing. You know, it might not look pretty, but you know, at least it works. Good old cheat code T-Rex. It's all fun and games until you do what I did here and cut the corner and then flip over. And then once you flip over, well, that's it. It's game over, really. You can't sort of, you have to restart the race. Something else included is this fancy pants 380 presentation. You can hear it struggling to load, but I'll let it run through for you guys so you can see it.
IBM ThinkPad. Portability. Versatility. Quality. Innovation. ThinkPad, a better place to think. Travel, work, travel. Convenience. Performance.
See what makes ThinkPad. Take advantage of the latest in computing technology with ThinkPad. You'll get the high performance of today's most advanced processors and high-speed bus architectures.
But yeah, with ending on that beautiful presentation, I'm just going to wrap this one up because it's sort of dragged on a bit. But yeah, it's been a fun project and learned a lot. And yeah, these old machines, they really are pitfalls. You know, they're getting pretty old now, but hey, they've still got that keyboard, and that keyboard is amazing. You know, it's really good. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and sorry for the crap voiceover work. I'm not really that good at it, but yeah, without scripts, what can you do? But yeah, and everyone stay safe and enjoy 2021, and hope it's a better year for everyone. Thanks for watching.